Hello everybody and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel, and we're just a tad later than we're hoping to be. We're about 5 or 6 minutes later, so the team news should be out any minute now. Obviously we're at Villa Park shortly. I've just watched the first half of the Brighton game, by the way, against Wolves. Brighton leading Wolves 1-0. Danny Welbeck's playing absolutely superbly, and I'm glad to see him getting a bit of credit. Stephen Warnock saying how well he's playing, and also the commentator really impressed with him. They're leading 1-0 at half time, Brighton. Our team today, I had a go at naming it yesterday. I think he'll go as strong as he can, and we'll know any second now. I think it'll be back to Henderson in goal. I think it'll be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. McTominay and Fred, but Fred did play a full game the other night. Maybe McTominay and Matic. McTominay didn't play at all the other night, so I think he'll definitely start. I think Bruno will start. And then up top, I think Pogba will start on the left. I think Cavani will start at 9. And then probably Marcus Rashford will start on the right. That's how I expect him to go. So we'll very soon see how close I am. I know I've named 12 players there. But right, go on, here we go. Henderson in goal. Henderson. Yeah, let me guess it. See if they're all in. Let me guess it. Henderson in goal.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka.
Correct.
Lindelof.
Correct.
Maguire.
Correct.
Shaw.
Correct.
McTominay.
Yes.
I'm going to go Fred.
Yes.
Yeah, McTominay and Fred. Bruno.
Yes.
Rashford.
Yes.
Cavani. No.
No.
No. Greenwood then.
Greenwood, yes.
Greenwood and Pogba.
Correct.
Wow. I don't like the front line. I really don't like that front line. Desperate to win this game. Desperate. I'd love us to win. I know it's tough. A tough ass winning 3 games in 5 days, but I'd love us to pick them 9 points up and be 4 points behind City when they. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're in with a title chance. I'm not saying that, but I'd just love us to try and make them, need something still. Obviously, if we drop points between now and then, they don't even need anything on Friday. So I'd just love them to need something. But I don't like that front line. Marcus and Mason together up front, not strong enough for me. I take it Cavani's on the bench, is it?
Cavani's on the bench. De Gea, Telles, Bailey, Tuanzebe, Williams, Mata, Matic, Van der Beek and Cavani on the bench.
Maybe he doesn't think he's fit to play. When he came off, he'd already scored twice the other night, and he brought him off with about 15 minutes to go. Obviously, players don't like getting brought off when they're on a hat-trick, no matter how experienced they are. So when he did that, I was thinking that he's bringing him off in order to, give him a little bit of a breather before today's game. And then he's on the bench today. Look, I'm not a fly on the wall in the dressing room. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's fully fit or whether they think he is fresh enough to play. But I'm gutted that he isn't playing. I'm absolutely gutted. And I do not fancy this front line one little bit. I really don't.
BL Gamer agrees with you. He says, I wouldn't mind Greenwood on the right and Cavani up top, but Rashford and Greenwood is a no.
It's a big blow, it really is. I've just watched the, I don't know if anybody's watched the rating show yet that I did this morning, because I only did it today from Thursday night's game. I never do it without watching the game again a second time. I only managed to watch it early this morning. And, Mason Greenwood, he's just losing the ball too easily. He isn't strong enough yet. I don't know if he's going to be strong enough. I really don't. But he's losing the ball too often, too easily. Let's see if he can improve a bit today.
Yeah. Mason Kentish says Rashford needs a break.
Yeah, he needs a break anyway. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan anyway, but even if I was his biggest fan, the amount of football he plays, it's just astonishing. It's like I don't know who he thinks he is. It's like the manager thinks he's Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. Like we can't possibly do without him. I mean, he won't even... Look, I might be miles out, but to me, I don't think he's necessarily part of our first choice starting 11. I really don't. And yet he thinks...
100% isn't.
100% he isn't, is he?
No.
And, and he thinks he's... I don't know what he thinks he is. He thinks he's Superman. Plays every match. Every match. Anyone else?
Hugh Moran says, does Tuchel play your style of football, Rick? Dead happy with him as a Chelsea fan, passing the ball very well.
Yeah, I would say so, definitely, yeah. I normally play 4-4-2. When you say style, you're talking about the passing and moving, getting a good first touch.
Philosophy, I suppose.
It's the philosophy, yeah. I mean, I just mentioned that I've just been watching Brighton, so you don't need to be a team that are in the Champions League final or the FA Cup final.
To implement the same philosophy.
Yeah, Brighton are playing superb football. Absolutely beautiful to watch. Look, there'll be probably some fans might come in the comments and say, yeah, but look where Brighton are and look where we are. But look at the... Look at
the resources.
Yeah, look at the resources we've got. How powerful we are. We should be that far in front of Brighton, and you know the way they're playing football today. Look, they're playing Wolves. We've still got to play Wolves. We will not run Wolves all over the park like Brighton have just done in that. They might not even win the game. Wolves might come back. It's half time 1-0. But Brighton are playing some great football. So yeah, getting back to Chelsea, since there's a Chelsea fan that's asked. Yeah, they're great to watch at the minute. Chelsea, they really are brilliant to watch.
Red Devil says we'll struggle today without a number 9 that can hold the ball up.
100%.
Angus Fraser says could do with Welbeck up top.
Welbeck better than as he is right now, without any shadow of a doubt. No shadow of a doubt about it. I don't care who wants to say anything back. Danny Welbeck, I've just watched him. He's better than Mason Greenwood and he's better than Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%, no doubt about it. I don't care that he's 30. What's 30 anyway?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? What's 30 anyway? I don't think Graham Potter realised what he was getting for nothing when he signed him.
I remember you talking about that.
When he was first in the squad, he was on the bench for the first quite a few games, quite a while. But whether he was implementing him into the style, I don't know.
His fitness up, you don't know
at the levels of football that I've run teams at, once you've got a player in your team that you know's good enough to be in your team, he's in your team straight away. You know, maybe at that level you do have to give it a few weeks and training together and stuff like that. But yeah, Welbeck's superb, mate. Superb.
There's a few not happy with the Rashford show.
Oh, he's miles better. He's miles better. Holds it better, turns better, knows when to release it quicker.
He's in control
of what's going on. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player.
Where does this game rank on the Richter scale, says Fergus Mackay.
Where does the game rank? What, the United Villa game? Yeah. Massive, absolutely massive for me now. This we've got to tick them off one at a time. Got to win today. Let's forget about the next two for now. I've got to win today and get it out of the way. I had a Villa fan on asking me this morning anybody who's been watching, I've been on Instagram now for about 48 hours. And learning my way around it, and I've only just learned how to answer direct questions this morning. But I've had a Villa fan onto me on Instagram asking me if I fancy us to win. I forgot to say to him, like I normally do, that I like to see the lineup. I just said to him that I don't like predicting the results of games, which I don't like predicting the results of games. But I said United will be favourites, so yeah, I've got to say the bookies would say won't they, the favourites? But what I normally say is, let me see the lineup before I decide. And now that I've seen the lineup, I'm not confident. But I've got to say, obviously Cavani's on the bench. He might need to come on for half an hour, and he's capable of scoring twice in half an hour if he has to come on. I'll be surprised if he doesn't have to come on. This team as it is, if you weren't allowed any substitutes, I wouldn't fancy this team to win. I wouldn't.
Davey Fisher, there's a few people disagree. Welbeck is more experienced and clever, says Red Devil. Fergus Mackey says, would you swap Welbeck for Greenwood?
Look, Welbeck's 30, Greenwood's 19. Sensibly, you'd have to say no. But what I'd rather say, if I had the choice of both of those players in my front line, and we had a game tomorrow, a big game, a cup final, or we're playing against City or Liverpool, I'd have Danny Welbeck, hands down.
It's an interesting one, because what tends to happen is when you leave United, the spiral tends to go down. You tend to go down. The amount of centre forwards that we've had at our club, the amount of attacking players, it seems to happen more with attacking players than it does with defenders, by the way. Players who play more in the defensive style, they tend to I don't know if there's just a shortage of them, or I don't know what it is, or you have to have more quality in those positions in order to get games in United's first team anyway than you do as an attacker. It can be matched by goals and assist stats, as we've spoken about in the past. So you tend to find that defenders that leave our club tend to find a fairly steady career around the top end of the game. Some of the attacking players, they disappear into complete obscurity. They just disappear completely. Now there's now Welbeck hasn't done that. I know he's had a torrid time with injuries, but
that's all he's had, injury, big injury.
In the Premier League at this age. There's nothing to say that Greenwood will still be in and around Premier League level in another 10 years' time. There's no guarantees of that. No guarantees.
I agree.
I hope he will. Do you know what I mean?
Playing for us, I
hope he's playing for us and bagging for fun. I hope he's one of the best that you've ever seen. But at the moment, there's nothing necessarily to separate him than from maybe I won't even name names, but separate him from one of our previous starlings.
Strikers who comes in, like Makeda or something like that.
Interesting, that was the name I was going to say, but I don't want to compare him to him. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, any player that bursts on the scene and can score a goal doesn't necessarily end up with longevity at the top of the game. It's different things.
He's
different things.
His fame and popularity absolutely zooms because he scores a goal or two.
Of course.
That's difficult for a defender to do. But also with a defender, the time doesn't come when you stop scoring goals either.
Yes.
So when you're a striker and if your goals dry up, people say, "Oh, he's playing terrible. He's not scoring any goals." You know, with a defender, there's nothing really to look at. You know what I mean? And that's all not so much pundits, but certainly fans on Twitter. They think a striker who's not scoring goals isn't playing well, and they think a striker who is scoring goals is playing well.
John Joe Curry says he's not better. I'm guessing he's talking about Rashford versus Greenwood and Rashford versus Welbeck. I'm guessing
absolutely miles better, miles better, stronger, brighter, better touch. Brighter knows which way to turn and when to hold it and when to pass it.
It's not too dissimilar to a Berbatov versus Chicharito.
It's just a different level. It's miles better. Miles.
Yeah.
Go on.
Jake Hushkaka says, Rick, who would be your ideal manager?
My ideal manager? Wow, that's a tricky one. Obviously, I'd have to say Fergie won. or if the question means like, could we get a manager now to take over United now, who's managing now? Wow, that's a tricky one. The way look, I mean, can we nick a manager from another club? Obviously, they don't expect me to say Pep. Look, the job he's doing at Chelsea, Tuchel, I'd take him. But somebody who you could feasibly get. I know sometimes it doesn't work when a manager's managed a smaller club and they go to a massive club. It sometimes doesn't work. But I'd give Graham Potter a go the way he's doing at Brighton. I really would.
You're getting some grief about your camera here. We're going to have to address the camera. And Timothy loves put, Rick, your camera is like a fish riding a bike.
What's up with the camera? Do you want to push it a bit nearer, or is it just the camera itself?
It's the quality of it. It needs addressing.
Right.
But we'll have it sorted.
It's the same one we use every week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always the same.
It's always rubbish.
It's always rubbish. We just need to sort it out for the start of next season, which we will address.
Right.
Mason Kentish again says, who do you think United should buy in the summer?
Central midfield player, definitely. I'm a massive fan of Nemanja Matic, but they obviously don't rate him. Most of the fans don't rate him as well, so they won't agree with me. But he's our best central midfield player for me. A lot of people still talk about Pogba being one of our best midfield players. When I say midfield, I mean central midfield. So our central midfield pair, make no mistake about it. As I've just said before, when I was guessing the team for today, even though Fred played a full game the other day, McTominay and Fred is our central midfield pairing. We need somebody who's better on the ball than both of them probably, but certainly better than Fred. McTominay's bigger, stronger, more physical, wins balls easier. What's difficult to realise for people is McTominay gets to some balls that Fred would be struggling to reach. So when you're watching the game and you see McTominay get to a ball dead easy, and you're just watching the game, you might even take a drink of your tea, it's that easy. Do you know what I mean? When you start watching a match. But it's a ball that Fred would be scurrying for and steaming into a tackle for. McTominay's taller, more physical, better in the air, scores some goals. He's got all the same energy. He's got everything that Fred's got plus more. So McTominay is the only one that I would keep. We need somebody else who can play the game. Now, I'd be happy if they had a run of games and with the full strength team around him. I'd be happy with McTominay and Matic. But obviously that's not going to happen now. It's not happened all this season. Matic isn't getting any younger. Not that he's too old, by the way. He's 32, coming up 33, I think.
But the club are already seeing him as too old.
They're not going to change that, are they? If I was United's manager tomorrow, it'd be McTominay and Matic every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not going to be that, so we need another midfield player.
Suyasheti.
Suyash.
Why can't Donny be tried at right midfield like Pogba at left midfield? Better footballers will play better in slightly different positions as long as it's to their strengths.
Yeah, without a doubt he would. Yeah, I mean today, looking at the lineup today, Pogba's clearly good. I say clearly, it's pretty obvious Pogba will play on the left, so it's going to be Mason or Marcus on the right, isn't it?
Just to add to this, by the way, before you continue answering that, Davy Fisher makes a comment. He said Bruno should be moved to right midfield. His passing isn't good enough to break the lines against a low block playing centre attacking midfield. We need a good passer in there, and that would be. I'm in agreement with Davy.
He's talking about short 5 and 10 yard passes, just trying to keep it ticking over.
Rather than putting Van der Beek on the right, I'd be inclined to put. If you've got to keep Bruno in the starting lineup, I'd be more inclined to put Bruno on the right and then put Van der Beek at 10. Just because you want that one in the middle to be seeing all them short passes to keep. That's the pit.
It's the fulcrum, isn't it? It's where you want to get the ball into and get it out again. He didn't do himself any favours during the week, Van der Beek. I just watched it again this morning, as I said, and there's a few too slack bits, but I suppose the bound to be the lack of game time he's getting. And also, it's interesting that you just said that you'd like to see him play at 10. It really does, even at that level of top players, it does help if you're playing in your best position. And he's not, so he's getting a game. He's not getting enough games, so when he gets a game, he's a little bit off the pace, but then he's not in his favourite position either. So just maybe if it would... I mean, like I've just said about Marcus, what's his problem with giving Bruno a rest? We were 6-2 up on a Thursday night. He'd have been doing Van der Beek a favour if he'd have played him at 10 and somebody else on the right and somebody else on the left rather than him playing on the left.
Ross United in the super chat.
Go on.
I don't even know what it means, but hi Ricky, looking attractive in that shirt. Thank you. I don't know what it means, but it sounds like a compliment.
I think he's just missed a Y off it. I think it means very.
Oh, it might be very, yeah.
Just missed a Y off by accident.
I thought it was something that the kids were saying.
It might be, yeah.
Hippodrome said both Fred and McTominay need to switch to a single pivot. Fred statistically is better, ball progressor than McTominay. Neither should start.
Well, when you say neither should start, it means who should start in front of them, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And we haven't got many options. I mean, I like Matic. I do like Pogba in that position, the way he plays it for France. I don't know why it's like this. It doesn't seem to play quite the same. Again, as I've just said, I've watched the game during the week. He played centre midfield during the week, but he didn't play well enough. He got trust me, I've watched it again this morning and I've studied it. He lost the ball when they nearly scored. He lost the one where it hit De Gea from about 6 yards out and it just trickled wide of the post. That was because they dispossessed Pogba in the middle of the field. He got dispossessed on the edge of his own box and Pedro shot just over. He tried a cross-field pass that missed the target by 10 yards and went out for a throw-in. He tried a simple 10-yard pass just on the halfway line that went straight to one of their players without him even having to stretch to reach it. Just too sloppy. It wasn't good enough. And it wasn't to rest him that they took him off. They took him off because it was at the time that they took him off. It was 7-4 on aggregate, and they were looking like scoring again. They didn't want it to become 7-5 on aggregate. It sounds daft, doesn't it? They didn't want it to become 7-5, and they took him off and brought Matic on to steady the ship. But Pogba's played in that position in a World Cup final. It's beyond me. I don't get it.
Alex Nichols said, do you think Mata will get a game this week?
No. I don't know if Dan James will be fit. The rumour was last week that Martial will be fit after we've played Roma and after we've played Villa. So maybe Martial will be on the bench against Leicester, and he might even get a start against Liverpool. Cavani's left out today. You might be wondering why I'm talking about strikers here, but obviously Mason or Marcus will be playing at 9 today. Whereas if Cavani plays one night and if Martial plays the other night, that means Mason and Marcus are scrambling around for a game on the right. If Pogba's playing left. In a nutshell, even though you've got to switch them all around, for 3 forward positions during this week, we're going to have Mason, Marcus, Cavani. I'm talking about if Martial's fit, obviously, and Pogba. Those 5 players competing for 3 spots. You can chop them and change them game by game, and there's no need for anybody else to play. And that's not even counting Dan James. If Dan James was fit, he'd get a start one night as well. I don't see Matt again. I'd love him to get a start, but I don't see it.
Mr. F says, Rick, after hearing Jermaine Jenas and co talk about how Danny Welbeck needs to be more selfish, it seems to me as there's no agenda against Martial. They just don't understand the player he is.
They want Welbeck to be more selfish. That's what they sound like. I didn't hear him. I didn't see the programme.
Doesn't surprise me, though, by the way.
He scored a fantastic goal last week, Welbeck. Did you see his goal? What a goal.
Yeah, great.
Anyway, it's not the Danny Welbeck show, but go on.
But I understand what Mr. F's saying. They're constantly saying that about players that play in forward positions, about goals.
Yeah.
It isn't
so long as the team win.
Yes.
So long as the team... Now, I know Brighton are not winning. Of course they're not. They're playing good enough football. Brighton are one of those clubs who, as soon as the season kicks off, they will settle for it. If you say they might not settle for it next season, they might want to settle for the top 10 spot next season, the way they're playing now. But normally, when the season kicks off, they'll settle for staying up.
Yes.
So they have succeeded.
He's Werner's been a little bit a victim of that same kind of outlook.
Yeah.
At Chelsea, hasn't he, of late? And, I know you've spoken about that a few times. Humour and Potter is very impressive, masters in psychology, and has an average set of players playing very good football. Didn't know he had a masters in psychology.
I didn't know he had an average set of players. I was just watching the 6'7" Dan Burn playing. I know he plays as a left wing back, but when they play 4-4-2, he plays as a left back. People might jump on me here, but if he's not better than Telles, I don't know who is. Telles is decent. He's proper decent, but Dan Burn is at least as good. What do we pay for Telles, and how much would we have to pay for Dan Burn? There'll probably be people laughing. Trust me, if Telles was playing for Brighton, he would not be an automatic starter. You know what I mean? So we've signed Telles as backup. And I don't know why is there enough imagination to look around the league? Did we pay something like?
Because of the amount of money that's involved amongst the top clubs. I
was about to say 20 odd million, but I think he was about 15 million. I don't know if anybody can answer. I think he was about 15 million. But anyway, don't check it. It don't matter. Go on.
Yeah, it seems to be that because of the amount of money that sloshes around amongst the top clubs, the Champions League clubs, and the Premier League clubs in general, it's like that determined that the players are much better.
Yeah.
And rather than the other way around, it's not that the players are demanding that type of. It's an oddity. I can't quite work out why it is, but it's definitely not the difference in the players, because the players, you're making your own out of your own academy. Some of them are in the team. Yeah. Obviously, the likes of Liverpool, they've signed fullbacks from obscurity who are winning Champions Leagues and whatnot. There isn't the gulf of difference that people think that there is between players throughout the league ladder.
Yeah.
Not just within the Premier League.
Yeah.
Throughout the league ladder, you can go and plug.
You can go and find little gems. Of course you can, and that's what happens all the time. Yeah. But it doesn't happen enough, does it?
It doesn't happen enough. No, there's too much attention on the players that have already made it to the top level and trying to pick players amongst that group.
Yeah. Rather than thinking, hey, he's a good player. I put a thing on. I can't remember where it was now. It must have been on Twitter a while back about Brighton's centre backs. Somebody was saying, somebody was saying we don't want one of Brighton's centre-backs, they're not good enough. They're all decent. They're all proper decent centre-backs. They're not letting many goals in the Premier League. Why aren't they decent centre-backs? I don't get it. That's Ben White looks a class player to me. Webster, look, Lewis Dunk, I've just seen him score a cracking goal. They're all good players. Not saying they walk into our team. Not saying that. But, you know, we used to have a fantastic squad when we was winning league titles. We had really good backup players. Brighton's centre-backs would all be perfectly good backup players for us. Perfectly good. Wouldn't have a problem whatsoever if Lindelof or Maguire was missing and you had to play Ben White or Lewis Dunk. I wouldn't flinch.
Yeah.
I wouldn't flinch.
Yeah. John Joe Curry says, afternoon Ricky and Director of Football. What is your thought on the expected goal stat? I find it fascinating because it shows the teams who are creating quality chances and those who get lucky.
Expected goal stat. Do you know what? I don't really understand it properly. What is it saying? Is it saying how many goals how many chances you make, or?
Yes, I think it does. Yeah.
It's too difficult.
I did read into it a while ago, and to be honest with you, I've forgotten where it was up to because I wasn't a great fan of it when I read into it. I need to have a little look at it to remind myself.
I saw a stat during the week that Luke Shaw has made more chances in the league this season than any other player throughout European football, not just fullbacks, any other player. Don't know if anybody saw that, but it's an astonishing stat. But I am on to how they quantify the making of chances. I've mentioned this before. When we played West Ham away, and we were down at half time, and we brought Bruno on at half time. We won the game, and I heard the commentator say towards the end of the game that Bruno's made 7 chances in the second half, more than the whole team made in the first half, or something like that. So I thought 7 chances. I know I've said this before, but there'll be people watching who haven't seen it. I thought to myself, 7 chances. I couldn't even think of the team having 7 chances. I was confused. How can he have made 7 chances in one half? We haven't had 7 chances. We might have had 4 or 5, but we haven't had 7. No way. So I went back through it and I studied the game closely, and he made 3 chances. But he also passed the ball on 4 occasions that resulted in the player who he passed it to having a shot. One of which, by the way, was Marcus Rashford when he was on. It was just a normal pass. He's just, we're circulating the ball. He just passes a normal pass to Marcus, who's on the wing, and Marcus, like he does occasionally, took a couple of men on and got a shot in. That's not making a chance. He's just starting to pass the ball to somebody who dribbled it a little bit, beat a couple of men and had a shot. And, by the way, this applies, both things apply to this particular shot by Marcus. He passed it to a couple of people who shot when they shouldn't have shot. Shot's not on. Yeah. You know what I mean? But on this occasion, not only did Marcus this is both things here, not only did Marcus have to beat a couple of men and make the chance for himself, he also got really narrow, and it wasn't really a shooting chance in the end, and he shot into the side netting. So it wasn't a chance anyway, as far as I'm concerned. And if you pass the ball to somebody who decides to take a shot on, they're putting it down as you've created a chance. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Most of the
that's not creating a chance.
Statistics that are relied upon in football are misleading.
Yeah, so getting back to Luke Shaw, I don't know if they've got different people who take these stats, by the way. I don't know if that's come from one company and that's come from another company. I don't know. But if Luke Shaw's, I think they said 67 chances he's made. If they're using the same basis of what they used, I think you can knock half of them off. You know what I mean? If they're saying he's made 67, yeah. I mean, he must have passed the ball 10 times to Marcus, and Marcus has had a shot when he shouldn't really have shot. Yeah. You know what I mean?
In order to be attributed with an assist, there should really be some intent there, shouldn't there?
To make the chance, some intent.
Intention for it to be an assist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yesterday, Aguero got an assist, didn't he? For that?
Yeah, he miscontrolled it and he got an assist. Well, when you think of it like that, I mean, I know that's a one-off for Aguero miscontrolling it. It went to Sterling scored. So Aguero gets the assist. But it was actually a mistake.
Yes.
It's actually a mistake. Now, don't forget, people are using these stats
Yes.
To show how well somebody's playing.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So that's going.
Games time,
that's
people
helping.
Won't remember what the incident.
That's helping his stats to show that he's playing well, and it was a mistake. It's an accident.
Terrible touch.
It's
terrible
shocking.
touch.
Yeah.
And yet it goes down as an assist.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Red Devil says, Rick, if you were Man United manager, how would you nurture Ahmad?
Well, I'd love to see a little bit more of him straight away, but I would have him on the bench, and I would definitely give him game time when I'd like to see us put some more games to bed. We had that game put to bed during the week. He should have got 20 minutes during the week. He should have got more than that. You know, if the manager was brave and he could really have even started. The way the game went, no, it might have been more sensible to bring him on at half time. It was 7-2 on aggregate. You know, he could have given him half a game. But that's what I would do. I'd make sure, obviously, training with the first team, getting games in the under 23s, and plenty of 10 and 15 minute spells off the bench when it's going well. But I believe we should be putting games to bed much more often than we are, and I think we would if I was picking the team.
Happy Cody says, expected goals is a way of measuring how likely a shot is to be a goal based on previous data. So based on other shots from that from similar positions.
Similar positions by that player.
I think it's in general.
Right.
Because you get team expected goals, don't you?
Yeah.
Jacob Stacker says, Rick, do you still think Freddie's crap? I do. I think he's crap. I think he's embarrassing.
He is
embarrassing.
Yeah.
I think he's embarrassing. I don't think he's got anywhere near enough quality on the ball. He cannot win a header. He can't shoot for toffee. And he's tiny.
Yeah.
He's like playing against a child.
Pushed over too easy, done it?
He's got to be the smallest central midfield player in the league. He's not all outside.
He was the most dribble pass player in the league last season at one point, wasn't he? I remember seeing that.
Blow him over. So weak. Every 50-50 that he gets involved in is a massive struggle for him.
Yeah.
He can't dominate a 50-50 ever. And that's why he ends up giving away so many fouls and some particularly dangerous positions.
What I can't gather is how we've beaten City so often with him and Matt Somany playing together in midfield. And I know I'm lumping him in there with Matt Somany, and I do think Matt Somany is a lot better.
Miles better for me.
Yeah,
I think that Somany's got all the attributes to go on and be a top player. Top player. I think at the moment his ability to go and fulfil his own potential is being hampered by playing alongside Fred. If I was in charge, I would be intentionally trying to get as much out of Matic at the moment alongside McTominay to nurture McTominay so that you go and learn from this player who's been there and done it all.
Yeah, 1-2 league titles.
Squeeze as much out of this Matic as we can to educate the next in line and work it like that. That's what I'd be trying to do. And at the moment, you're missing both of those. You're actually taking away from McTominay performances, potential, and you're not utilising the quality that you've got in Matic to its fullest. Sorry, the question was for you.
It's fair answer. I just struggle with how well we're doing in the league. And look, I have to say this every week. You know, we're not the Man United that was winning 3 league titles in a row like we were under Fergie and stuff like that, and winning trebles. We are not that Man United. The Man United of the last few years, compared to that, we're doing well. So I can't understand why we're doing so well, and I also can't understand why we win so many big games. You know, with Fred in the midfield. I know he's what quality has he got? He's terrier-like. He runs around like mad, he's fit as a fiddle, he gets stuck in, but you can't say anything else, can you? But somehow or another, he plays against City every time, and in the league, at least, we seem to beat him every time we play him. Go on.
Callum Salibi says, "Hello Rick, what's all the fuss about Van der Beek and Bruno? Massa is clear of both. I watched Van der Beek on Thursday and he was poor. You mentioned that already, but Massa doesn't get anywhere near as much game time as he should do.
I love Massa, he's a brilliant player. I'd love to see 1 or 2 of our older players get some more game time. I think they're the better players. Massa and Matic, I'd love to see them play more.
Joachim United says, can you tell me, Rick, how someone can watch Fred and think he's a better player than Matic?
Yeah. It's astonishing. It is astonishing. Matic came on that pitch the other night. It was like a Rolls Royce coming on the pitch.
Harry says Freddie's a B-Tech Kante.
Kante's fantastic.
Yeah.
Kante is. I've watched them so much recently. I've watched both the Champions League semis. I watched them against City twice, once in the FA Cup. He's absolutely superb, Kante.
Everything he does,
What a player!
Such quality and control. And
What a player!
Intent. He's just he's top notch, isn't he?
Yeah.
Top notch. People will come back with stats here. Mo Marif says Fred won back possession more times than any other big six midfielder last season. I don't care.
No, I don't care either.
No.
Probably won back most of them possessions. This is what I'm on about stats. Some of them possessions will be literally where he miscontrolled the ball, it's gone to one of their players and he's fallen into a tackle and won it back again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me one little bit if 20% of his win backs or something like that, because he's lost it himself in the first place.
Yeah. The statistics are just a waste of space.
Virtually a waste of space. Virtually. And I know we use them before anyone says it. I know we all use them. I sometimes go, look at it, I do get that. You know, you do use them when it suits you, and you twist them when you don't like them, obviously. But everyone's guilty of that.
Yeah. I think that's it, though, isn't it? It's that when they suit your agenda, the bang on sound.
yeah, when they suit you.
When you don't,
No good. No good.
Sarah Halpin says, I couldn't resist asking, are you looking forward to the final in Gdansk and what are your plans for the match?
Oh, I can't wait. It's 22 now.
Yeah.
I'm going to the match. Yeah, definitely going. Got flight books. Going on the Tuesday. No, the Monday. Going on the Monday and coming back on the Thursday. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, the only problem is all the COVID testing. It's a real pain, isn't it? All the testing and stuff to get in and out.
All to go, and then I've been to quarantine for 10 days at home, but I hardly ever go out anyway. So.
It's a little bit of an adventure about looking forward to actually getting to venture out.
Yeah, going somewhere, yeah.
Callum again says Matters football brain clear of Bruno, absolutely clear. Who's joking, but I saw someone tell me that Busquets wouldn't fit us because he isn't quick enough.
Oh, no, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, Busquets. Someone touch him with a barge pole.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
I do think a lot of it. I said this to you, and I'm not into computer games or anything like that, but I know a lot of the generation, particularly people that you interact with on Twitter, you know, a lot of them are FIFA football game things. Yeah. And I've said this to you a few times in the past, is that the most important attribute of a footballer is his
decision
making, and it's the one thing that's completely absent from the attributes of a computer game player.
Yeah.
Because all of the decision making is in the hands of the player
of the
game, and not the players on the pitch. So it's no wonder that they prioritise pace, because if they're already making bad decisions, it's pace that gets them anywhere where they want to go on the pitch. It's running past players, and do you know what I mean? They're making the wrong decisions as the controller of the players to begin with, and I think that. You know, that idea, that concept, is what completely devalues any sort of value that can be gained from player ratings or scores in computer games. Is the most important part of it removed.
Yeah. So you can't see how good a player is.
Yeah, you've no idea.
Because it's you that's doing it.
You're the brains of every player.
You're the brains of that player. So if you're actually controlling Juan Mata, you're deciding what Juan Mata's going to do. He ain't going to play very well, is he?
If you're trying to do lollipop past everything, you get it with Juan Mata, you're going to struggle with it. You can have more success doing it with a Rashford or a Greenwood because they've got higher speed scores. You know what I mean?
Right, we better call it a day. It's nearly 1:45 and it's a 5-past kick-off, isn't it? Shall we? It's a one. Do you want one more, or should we go?
Obviously, we kind of started a debate on the FIFA thing there, but
we better come back to it next time, I think. We better call it a day. Yeah. Right. Thanks everybody. Hope you've enjoyed it. You know the score. If you've enjoyed it, tell all your friends. Please subscribe, and if you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anybody. keep stum.